This is News Hour on Ifako Radio. Good morning, I'm Olanireti, Ololade. The major headlines. Banks' bad loans spike after CBN withdraws forbearance. Wike, Bauchi Governor. Lock arms over terrorism financing claims. Bodija. 30 billion naira FG fund remains unused. Makinde tells Fayoshe. ADC faction rejects Obi, the Sons Enugu registration. Sports. Chelsea sack Maresca amid poor runs. Entertainment. Ashake to headline Spotify African Hit playlist for 2026. News in detail. Banks' bad loans spike after CBN withdraws forbearance. Nigeria's banking sector recorded a rise in bad loans in 2025 after the Central Bank of Nigeria reviewed regulatory forbearance granted to lenders during the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the Apex Bank's latest macroeconomic outlook report. The report showed that the banking industry's non-performing loans ratio climbed to an estimated 7%, exceeding the prudential benchmark of 5%. The CBN said the increase reflected the impact of ending the temporary reliefs earlier granted to banks to cushion the effect of the pandemic on borrowers. The non-performing loans ratio stood at an estimated 7%, relative to the prudential limit of 5%. The level of NPLs reflected the withdrawals of the regulatory forbearance granted to banks during the COVID-19 pandemic, the report read. Regulatory forbearance had allowed banks to restructure loans affected by the pandemic without immediately classifying them as non-performing. With the withdrawal of the measure, a number of previously restructured facilities have now crystallized as bad loans, pushing the industry ratio above the regulatory ceiling. Wike, Bauchi Governor, lock on to terrorism financing claims. Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, were on Thursday logged in war of words over allegations of terrorism financing levied against the Bauchi governor. Appearing on China's television Sunrise Daily, Mohammed alleged a political witch hunt by President Bola Tinubu, adding that Wike was behind the terrorism financing charges filed against Bauchi State Commissioner for Finance, Yakubu Adamu, in which his name featured. The EFCC had on Wednesday arraigned Adamu and 3 others for alleged terrorism financing to the tune of $9.7 million, with Governor Mohammed's name appearing in the charges. Speaking on Thursday, Mohammed linked the charges to an earlier threat by Wike to put fire in Bauchi State, alleging he was using federal agencies and political structures to undermine his administration. Mohammed described terrorism financing allegations as unreasonable, saying Wike was behind the case. Bodija. 30 billion naira FG fund remains unused, Makinde tells Fayoshe. The Oyo State government has explained why Governor Seyi Makinde did not publicly announce the receipts of the 30 billion naira intervention fund from the federal government following the January 2024 Bodija explosion, stating the special intervention funds are subject to the budgeting process and do not require public announcements upon receipts. The explanation was contained in a statement issued on Thursday by the Commissioner for Information, Prince Dotun Oyelade. The state government also disclosed that 30 billion naira released by the federal government in November 2024 remains untouched in the dedicated bank accounts, as it is waiting the release of the outstanding 20 billion naira balance from the 50 billion naira approved for the reconstruction of Old Bodija and its environs. The explanation comes in the wake of revelation by former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayoshe, that the federal government gave Governor Makinde intervention support for the explosion victims. Fayoshe, in a television interview, had challenged Makinde to give account of how he spent 50 billion naira released to him by the federal government. ADC faction rejects Obi, disowns Enugu registration. The faction of the African Democratic Congress, led by its national chairman, Nafiu Gombe, on Thursday distanced itself from the reported defection and registration of former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi at its Enugu zonal office. The faction, which described itself as the authentic national leader of the ADC, said the exercise violated the party's constitution and established membership procedures. It was reported that Obi announced its defection to the ADC at an event held at the Nike Lake Resort in Enugu State. At the event, the former Anambra State governor called on Nigerians and opposition forces to unite under a broad coalition to rescue Nigeria from poverty, disunity, and democratic decline. In a New Year message issued in Abuja, Gombe stressed that it became important for them to clarify misleading information circulating in the public domain over the party's membership registration process. He said the ADC is founded on order, discipline, and strict adherence to its constitution, adding that its membership registration process is clearly defined. I'll withdraw support if Peter Obi runs as VP in 2027, Utomi. Political economist Professor Pat Utomi has said the former Labour Party presidential candidate in 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, will contest the presidency in 2027, but noted that he would withdraw his support if Obi agrees to run as a vice presidential candidate. Utomi made the comments on Thursday evening during an interview on Channels Television's Politics Today program. Recall that Obi announced his formal defection from the Labour Party to the African Democratic Congress in Enugu on Wednesday. At the event, the former presidential candidate, who placed third in the 2023 general elections, polling about 6 million votes, said its move to the ADC marked the beginning of a journey to rescue our country and set it on the path of proper socio-economic development. However, some supporters and critics, including the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, have questioned the move, raising concerns about the zoning of the party's presidential candidacy, particularly with the membership of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar in the same party. Speaking on the program, Utomi ruled out a vice presidential slot for Obi, saying he would walk away if the former Anambra State governor became a vice presidential candidate. Lagos Plaza Fire. The SEMA compiles names of missing persons. The Lagos State Emergency Management Agency has urged members of the public whose relatives may be missing following the fire incident at the Great Nigerian Insurance House on Martin Street, Lagos Island, to register the names of such persons with personnel stationed at the scene. The agency said this was necessary to address public concerns regarding reports of missing persons. The SEMA Permanent Secretary Olufemi Osoitolu disclosed this in a statement on Thursday. There have been speculations and indications on social media that some persons are still trapped under the rubble of the collapsed section of the building. Reacting to the concerns, Osoitolu noted that rescue operations were still ongoing at the scene of the fire. Trained emergency responders supported by specialist equipment remain fully engaged on the ground to ensure that all affected areas are thoroughly assessed and that no person is left unaccounted for. He urged individuals with missing relatives to report and register the names of such persons at the scene of the fire. Manhunt begins for 30 attackers of Ondo Police Station. The Ondo State Police Command has launched a manhunt for gunmen who attacked the Ipele Divisional Police Headquarters on New Year's Eve. It was gathered from multiple sources, including viral photographs on social media, that the incident occurred on Wednesday evening when suspected gunmen, said to be between 20 and 30 in number, invaded the community and set the police station ablaze. Although a statement issued by the command on Thursday did not disclose the motive behind the attack, the Commissioner of Police Adebo Alilawal condemned the assault. Photographs cited by showed a vehicle parked within the station premises completely burnt, while parts of the building, particularly the roof, were partially damaged. Reacting to the incident in a statement shared on the command's Facebook page on Thursday, the police spokesperson Abayo Mijimo clarified that no church was attacked, contrary to reports circulating on social media. The command wishes to clarify that, contrary to reports making the rounds on social media, no church was attacked during the incident, Mijimo said. Sports. Chelsea sacked Maresca amid poor runs. Chelsea parted ways with Enzo Maresca on Thursday, a dramatic fall from grace for the Italian, who was named manager of the month for November before the club won just one of their last 7 league games to fall out of the Premier League title race. The Italian, who joined Chelsea in 2024 after steering Leicester City to Premier League promotion, lives 18 months to the day since he was tasked with reviving the club's fortunes after 2 years of failing to qualify for the Champions League. Maresca eventually guided the London side to Champions League qualification, with a fourth place finish. The Conference League trophy and the Club World Cup title in his first season with a young but expensively built squad, but a poor run of form in December and an uncharacteristic outburst from the Italian prompted the club hierarchy to take action and part ways with 45-year-old manager. Chelsea Football Club and health coach Enzo Maresca parted company, the club said in a statement, with key objectives still to play for across four competitions, including qualifications for Champions League football. Enzo and the club believe a change gives the team the best chance of getting the season back on track. Entertainment. Ashake to headline Spotify African Hits playlist for 2026. Spotify says Afrobeat superstar Ashake will create its African Hits playlist for an exclusive New Year's Eve takeover as the world ushers in 2026. Spotify's head of music for Sub-Saharan African, Fiona Okumo, who disclosed this in a statement released on Wednesday in Lagos, said that the collaboration will feature Ashake's chart-topping songs alongside defining sounds from across the African continent. She added that the African Hits would capture the energy and confidence of contemporary African music, offering fans the high-energy soundtrack to welcome the new year. African Hits is about capturing the energy and confidence of African music as it exists today. Having Ashake as a cover reflects the kind of artist shaping how African sounds move through the world, rooted at home but resonating everywhere, Okumo said. Recap of the major headlines. Banks' bad loans spike after CBN withdraws forbearance. Wike, Bauchi governor, lock horns over terrorism financing claims. Bodija, 30 billion naira FG fund remains unused, Makinde tells Fayoshe. ADC faction rejects Obi Nson's Enugu registration. Sports. Chelsea sack Maresca amid quarrels. Entertainment. Ashake to headline Spotify African Hits playlist for 2026. Follow us on all our social media handles. Facebook at Ifako Radio, WhatsApp at Ifako Radio, YouTube at Ifako Radio, X at Ifako Radio, Instagram at Ifako_radio. For news reporting, contact us at ifakoradio@gmail.com or call our WhatsApp 091 2222 7433. Special thanks to the news producer Olanireti. Thanks for watching. I'm Olanireti Ololade. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless Ifako.